government to drive and push for Kenya's capital to be the capital of capital. Daniel Mainda is the CEO of Nairobi International Financial Center. He's joining us on this week's episode of Inside Government. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Help us understand this. I mean, 1.5 years in the job, what has changed?
Good question. Thank you for coming. We have been able to achieve a lot of things within a very, very short period of time in trying to position Kenya as a leading financial center in the continent. As you know, the Nairobi Financial Center is an economic pillar under Vision 2030, with the financial pillar, whereby we're trying to position and attract global capital into Nairobi and invested through Nairobi into the continent. So there were three things that needed to be done. Number one was to fully operationalize the center, and number two was to set up two other things which you've seen, the National Infrastructure Fund and the Sovereign Wealth Fund. But back to the Nairobi International Financial Center, this came about under an Act of Parliament in 2017, and it was officially launched in 2022.
5 years later.
A couple of years later. And that also slowed down a lot of things. So during this administration, whereby the vision of the current administration and the president said, what can we do to spiral and increase foreign direct investment in Kenya, aside from the traditional things? And those traditional things are, manufacturing, agriculture, textiles, tourism, those things which have been there since independence. But what are these two new things that can spiral us into the new economic vision of Kenya? That is, number one, financial services, and number two, technology. And those two things are what we are concentrating on today and over the past 1.5 years. So what's in that strategy, we have decided, how can we position Kenya more? Number one, we want Kenya, of course, to be the home of fund domiciliation in the continent. We want Nairobi to be the home of startups in the continent. We want Nairobi to be the home of technology in the continent, and also to be the home of innovation in the continent. And the only thing that can do that is a financial center.
When you look at the Vision 2030 economic blueprint, when you look at the economic pillar that talks about establishing and reinventing Nairobi to become the global financial hub in Africa, it was looking at the timelines of between 2010 and 2015 to have the center operationalized until 2022. And we are coming in this game somehow late in the day when other financial capitals are emerging. How has this impacted our status?
It has impacted it in greatly, and greatly I'll say it in two parts. Now, if we even go back to 2010, and the reason why I'm saying 2010 is because that was probably the birth of our new constitution. Between 2010 and 2020, I think Kenya has worked very hard, especially on the financial services sector side, to ensure that our regulators, our regulatory institutions, have solid pillars. So we have really, really worked on our institutions between 2010 and 2020. So even in African standards, even global standards, Kenya regulatory institution or framework is quite strong. So we should not say that all was lost over that period of time. Now, post-2020, into 2022, and now going on forward, they said, how can we activate these institutions? How can we be a little bit more agile? And the things that create agility, of course, is policy, legislation, of course, and and human capital. Do we have all those three ingredients right now? Yes. We have policy, we have legislation, we have the human capital, which is there. So between 2020 and now is when now we're starting to create a lot of agility and how to deepen our capital markets. So I don't see how if we have lost time. I strongly feel that right now is every sector in the economy, especially now the financial service sector, is running quite rapidly to ensure that we don't lag behind in anything. We want to ensure that we are in pole position in the continent in all the things that we're working on.
As the founding CEO of Nairobi International Financial Center, what keeps you awake?
Jobs keeps me awake. And number two, foreign direct investment keeps me awake. Let me give you some small statistics here. Our foreign exchange reserves right now about $14 billion, which is about 5 to 6 months import cover. We have a dream here whereby we want to ensure that we attract about $5 billion by 2028. And we have a dream here that we want to attract about $10 billion of foreign direct investment by 2030. That is possible. And I'm only talking about the financial services sector and the tech sector. I'm not talking about those other sectors that are running the economy right now. And what we want to ensure is these $5 to $10 billion is new capital. So, O'Brien, if I'm attracting $5 to $10 billion of new capital in Kenya, that increases our foreign exchange reserves by 3 to 4 months, which now about 10 months import cover, which is a fantastic thing for any economy. And that also converts now into what is in it for Kenyans. It's jobs, so money is circulating, and etc.
You're talking about 2028. We are about 1.5 years to 2028. How are we faring?
We're faring well, and let me give you just a small scorecard and some small numbers. And you're asking about the past 1.5 years. When we came in, there was just one firm that was certified in the financial center. Over the past few months, we have certified over 20 firms in the financial center. And these 20 firms, they cut across sectors, but which is insurance, financial services, carbon exchanges, fintech, and also healthcare. And these have attracted, as we calculated the other day, have attracted and are going to attract about 27 to 29 billion shillings worth of foreign direct investment and impact into the economy. These 20 firms are going to attract about 800 to 1,000 jobs in the economy within this short period of time. So the impact over the past 1.5 years has been that. So if we do our projections, and we're just starting right now, I think we're in a good place. Yeah.
From where you see it, and I'm sure you've done a SWOT analysis of how to achieve your goal and the challenges along the process, what would stop you from hitting the $10 billion mark by 2028?
I don't think we want to even foresee such a thing. Right now, we're just trying to evaluate and assess that roadmap. What are the opportunities and what are the things that we need to do to ensure we hit that target? And by looking at it that way, you're now saying that all these hurdles that may come across, you've already ensured that you navigate through them. So, what does an investor want? An investor requires predictability and security of their investment. And now you have to also create that journey, that investor journey. I said, when I come in, who takes care of me? Number one. Number two, is my capital safe? Number three, am I able to invest well? Number four, can I exit well? And number five, can I come back again properly? So it's a whole 360-degree cycle. And now at the financial center, we're saying that let's draw this circle properly. Let's ensure that you take care of that investor journey well. And by taking care of that investor journey well, at the financial center, we are ensuring predictability. Now with predictability, he said, can you give somebody a long-term window, a 10-year or 20-year window of protection? Because this is capital that was never there. This is new capital coming in. So right now, we have incentives in the financial center for firms coming into the financial center, which give you a 10-year incentives, and you can renew them for another 10 years. A 20-year tax incentive is quite something predictable. We're working on creating more incentives because right now we have only about 5 incentives, and we have done just this. And if we create more incentives across sectors, we can be able to attract more. and be able to deepen the markets quite substantially well. Yeah.
You operate in an environment whereby, you know, there are two risks, the heterogeneous and exogenous shocks. You know, they would have, you know, a profound impact on how you do your business. And let's first of all talk about, you know, the exogenous shocks. You're having war in Middle East, which is disrupting the global supply chains. And of course, this is increasing the cost of freight and, of course, the cost of business and making companies to rethink their expansion strategies. Isn't this a shock that is likely to impact Nairobi as a preferred financial hub?
I think we don't want to belittle that point. That is something very, very serious. That is something that's very serious for Kenya. That is very, very serious for every country in the world. How we have looked at it from a geopolitical point of view, we're looking at it as an opportunity, O'Brien. That opportunity is that for an investor, especially with the current shocks that are happening globally, can an investor believe in the ecosystem which is the Nairobi Financial Center? Everybody's looking for a second, third, or fourth option of where the capital can lie and where it can be able to invest it in. So we have also mapped out our strategy quite well, and have said even we're going to take advantage of this geopolitical situation whereby if you're looking for a second home, if you're looking for a place to put your funds or set up your regional headquarters or your holding companies, Nairobi is the place to be. And we're not looking at people who will only come and invest in the country. We want people who want to invest in the continent, but through Nairobi.
Domestic shocks. In 2024, we saw widespread violence because of Gen Z protest. You know, the same scenario was repeated last year. Next year, we are going into general elections, and we expect to see a lot of heightened political activities. Is that worrying you? And how are you doing to mitigate against a negative image for Nairobi?
Good point. We are designed to ensure that we bring out the best in the financial service sector and in the financial services pillar of the economy. So we are trying to complement exactly what the ecosystem is giving. And now for us, we're saying that if we're able to achieve our targets and or create impact in capital market deepening, number one, in enhancing human capital in the country, number three, in taking care of those four pillars that we talked about, which is startups, which is the fund administration and fund domiciliation and technology. If we're able to sort out that ecosystem, we can be able to attract that capital to come in. If we attract that capital to come in, O'Brien, then we can be able to sort out or participate in the development of increase in more job opportunities or opportunities for Kenyans. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to add us a little more to that point. The reason why we were saying that we want Nairobi to be the home of startups is because we are seeing a global shift in how young people are assessing job opportunities. Now, you and I went to school, or you went to college, or you went to university, and after that, you are going to look for a job. Now, as you know, globally, that is now changing. People are going to school. When you finish school, they're trying to set up their own businesses. Now, in developed economies, that can work a little bit easier. That works a little bit easier because now there's access to capital. Mm-hmm. Now, for us, what we want to do in the center, we want to ensure that these VCs and these PEs and these angel investors, we want them to come and invest in Nairobi, so that when somebody's coming and starting up business, we can match that skill set into, or that asset to capital, so that people can have access to capital. And so that now takes care of two things. You have private capital working for you, and you also have commercial bank capital working for you. And then now that becomes now a very democratically competitive environment for everybody. And that just once you have money circulating in the economy, I think it's a good thing to have.
When you're selling Nairobi, and when you're convincing investors why Nairobi is much better than Johannesburg, than Kigali, than Cairo, than Casablanca, what are your selling points?
First of all, I don't like it, or we don't want to say that we're better than somebody else, especially when we're talking about our continent, and we're talking about the Africa first, and also Africa forward in our approach, because we're better off selling ourselves as a block. So, for example, we have people like who came before us, people like Johannesburg, and who already participated in economic development through advancing and developing their mining sector. The mining sector gave them a lot of foreign exchange for them to develop the economy, and they did it very fast and very well at that time. You have people like Mauritius who started the financial services, international financial services and fund services and fund management a long time ago, over 30 years ago, and so they did it. They did that very well. Then you have people who have come in now, or in the recent past, people like Casablanca who have come in, who are taking care of that region. You have people now like even Cairo who are taking care of their own region there, and the northern region. Then you have the Eastern Africa region, but you have Nairobi, and you have people like our friends in Kigali who are doing great things there. So now for us as Nairobi, we're saying we have the right mix, and we have the right mixed salad of everything. We have the market depth, we have the serious opportunities, and we have the human capital, and we also have the technology, and we have the access to financial services. Those 5 things, we have not even done even half of where we need to go, and we are where we are. So if we zero in on all these, or just these 5 things we're talking about, and deepen them and advance them, I think we shall be second to none in the foreseeable future. But O'Brien, I'm not saying that we are competing even with our friends. No, we are trying to do what works for us as Nairobi. And if we do what works for us, then everybody will come to us for whatever it is they're looking for in the continent.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mainda, well, it is true that as Africa, the best we can do is to play a complementary role. Ultimately, the goal is to have more investors, pitching tent in your capital. And when you look at Nairobi, and you have outlined some of the boxes that Nairobi ticks, but I also want to hear from you, when you look at Nairobi as a capital city, I mean, it has its own set of challenges, from limited infrastructure to crime, to other infrastructural issues. Do you encounter that as a challenge when investors are pitching for a place to put up their tent?
Well, Ben, that's a humane question, and it's a real question. And the reason I'm saying it's a real question, because it also talks about the realities of what we're going through, or any progressive city is going through in the world. So with all those things that you mentioned, those things exist everywhere. And I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying because I'm defending Kenya, defending Nairobi. I said that, are we alive to these challenges? Yes, we're alive to these challenges. Those specific sector leaders working on those challenges, yes, they're working on those challenges. Like if we're talking about security, are we as Kenya just sitting back and saying that, we're just going to let things slide? No, we're not doing that. They're the deliberate things that are being done by specific sector owners to ensure that we become the most efficient economy in our region or in our continent. Because I cannot make the financial center work and other sectors are lagging behind. So it is a collaborative approach to ensure that we all have to go forward. So if it be it security, be it healthcare, be it infrastructure, all those things have to go hand in hand, because if an investor comes in, they are going to look at all those things to ensure that, okay, am I safe, number one? Am I able to commute, number two? And now the good thing is now, of course, we have our airport, which has quick access in and out. But now, of course, that is now a small thing. We have to now enhance it and make sure that it becomes a formidable infrastructure development for us, or transport corridor, because the transport corridor is something that really works for us, both sea and land and air. So now we cannot now make one of our biggest assets lag behind. So a lot of investment has to be put in that, even for us to succeed as a financial center. So I would really ensure that all the other sectors around us put their best foot forward for us to now attract the best and long-term capital in our country.
I mean, you are in Upper Hill, and to many people, Upper Hill is considered Nairobi's financial district. Is this where you would want the new district to be at?
Going discussions about that. So I'll keep you posted on that. Yeah. But before you, sorry, but to cut you off, it's very interesting how even the private sector designed itself to land in Upper Hill. It has become our financial district for local capital. Everybody's here. Also, global firms are also here. So I mean, we'll see how it goes here.
I'm sure you know about Konza Technopolis, which is a city designed and established for tech firms to set up base there. Do you think that can be a prime district, a combination of a tech city and a financial hub?
It's also good to appreciate, number one, the success of Konza. It was also a project under Vision 2030, and it has been able to develop, of course, from a staggered point of view. They've been able to develop over the past couple of years into something good. Have they matured to what we envisaged? No, because we envisaged Konza to be our good tech city, which it is on its way there. But I don't think a Nairobi International Financial Center would be in a place like Konza. I think we can complement each other, but however, being all that way, I don't think it would work for.
So how does it work here? I mean, you have a tech center, a tech city, pitching for technology firms to set up base at Konza. And on the other hand, you have NIFC wooing the same tech companies to set up base in Nairobi. Is there any way that the two positions can be harmonized? And I am saying this, I've been to Konza, very well done, great infrastructure. It's where you'd want to be if you want to be efficient, because you're not bothered about traffic jam, you're not bothered about crime, you're not bothered about sewer systems and all that. Are you of the opinion that it is high time we rethink Konza and see how we can merge it with two?
I mean, I think first of all, you need to distinguish exactly the dreams of both centers. Now, the Nairobi International Financial Center, what was it designed for? It designed for how can we attract private capital, be it in the financial services sector or technology sector, very quickly, and how can you organize it here? Now, the reason was due to agility. We're losing out opportunities. This capital is sitting somewhere. It should sit in Kenya, it should sit in Nairobi very quickly. Now, other financial centers, if you want to compare, did not even start with a tech center. They started with, where is the money? Where can we house the money? And if you can create structures to ensure that money sits here, I think that's a start. And that capital attraction needs to happen in an area whereby there's a lot of agility and a lot of action going on. That's number one on financial services sector. And now, how can we combine technology into financial services? That is a no-brainer. Financial services and technology go hand in hand. Now, even with our tech people, especially our fintech areas, and people who are already working in Nairobi and all those things, and how we attract also these people coming in, they want to be also in an area whereby there's agility and there's financial activity, heavy financial activity, and there's access to a lot of services very quickly. So Konza has really helped on very deep infrastructure. It's deep infrastructure, R&D, and all these things. Konza is helping us there, and I think they should also continue in that trajectory. So for me, I see two different paths leading to the same place, but very different visions taking care of specific segments of people.
Mm-hmm. When you look at Nairobi and the topography, the architecture of Nairobi, and I do appreciate that it's very diverse, and you have what we call the CBD. You have the Upper Hill, you have Westlands, part of Nairobi, and now we also have parts of Gigiri, which is also coming up. For the longest time, it used to be, a diplomatic node, but it's also becoming very fast a financial district. Which region or which part of Nairobi do you think ticks all the boxes when it comes to a better shopping area for a financial district?
I think, Brian, I know where you're leading to, but however, I think Nairobi has become a very modern district for lots of things. And I think also Nairobi has also become a little bit smaller for a lot of people. Mm. That's why you see Nairobi expanding into the outer satellite cities. Mm. So if we look at even the trajectory of how Nairobi has grown, that even gives you an indication of how the economy is growing. Like for example, now 30 years ago we were all in the CBD in downtown. Mm. Now you're in Upper Hill. Now you're in Westlands. And other people are also now in Gigiri, as you're talking about. I mean, that will also outgrow us in some point in time. But do we have to disappear? No, we can also be innovative with our spaces. Mm-hmm. Say that okay, right now what is working for us is that we're here where we are, and Nairobi itself is a whole hub of everything. It's a hub of financial services. It's a hub of technology. It's a hub of everything. So we'll ensure that since we are the Nairobi International Financial Center, we shall also sell Nairobi as one. So us designating our place as a financial district in a designated area, that discussion will come later.
Is it also possible to have multiple financial centers in Kenya? And I want to give you a reference. Look at, for example, the US, which is home to the biggest financial center in the world, New York. Then on the Midwest, you have Houston. Mm-hmm. Then you go up, you have Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And of course, you also have Atlanta in Georgia. Is it possible for us not just to have Nairobi alone, but we can also designate other cities? And I'm looking at a city like Kisumu, a city like Eldoret, as other financial hubs.
You also need to, that's a very good question, but also now we also need to be very, very careful what we're comparing ourselves to, and the landscape of our country, and also the length and breadth of our borders. Now, for example, for you're talking about New York, you're talking about Houston, you're talking about California. The US is a huge country, and that is why they have done what you're talking about. As for us as Kenya, we have a population of 56 million people. Sometimes some states in America are even larger than Kenya. So if you're looking at even the state of Texas and talking about Houston, that's quite a huge place. For there, they have even 3 or 4 cities there. They have Dallas, they have Houston, they have Austin, and the rest. For us here, a population of 56 million people, and we're trying to organize ourselves, and we're not even trying to organize ourselves even as Kenya itself. We're trying to organize also the region and take the region with us. I think it is fitting for us right now, as we talk about organizing ourselves and ensuring that we achieve number one, what we need to achieve by 2030, and number two, what we want to achieve post 2030. I think we still need to make Nairobi our financial hub. for ourselves, for Kenya, and also for the region, meaning the Eastern African region. Number one. Number two, I think it will be an opportunity for each city to also bring the best out of themselves. Like for example, Kisumu should also bring out the best of what they want it to be known for. Eldoret needs to be needs to have the best of what it's known for. Mombasa needs to have the best of what it's known for. Because for us, we're in pole position. And I say, capital is attracted to organization. So once you have an organized entity and a good organized ecosystem, capital will come. That's what we're trying to fix.
You know, the NIFC, of course, is a brainchild of the Vision 2030. But, you know, Vision 2030 requires other enablers, you know, for it to come alive. And the current administration, you know, is implementing the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And I help us understand, how do you align with the better ideals?
Number one, and I'm glad you mentioned about Vision 2030, because Vision 2030 is a blueprint for the country and any successive government, for them to base their manifesto on. And especially with the better agenda. The better agenda, we're ensuring that we participate in this through, of course, the medium-term economic plan, and of course this economic pillar. And then from a macro level, we're saying, okay, what is the mandate of the financial center? The mandate of the financial center is for us to attract this foreign direct investment, and that foreign direct investment is foreign exchange. Foreign exchange means it has to be invested here. If it invested here, it takes care of the whole ecosystem. That means you're able to pay your bills, number one. Number two, you're able to build infrastructure. Number three, you're able to now believe in the local economy or the domestic economy against depending on the international economy and also our external debt instruments.
And you know, a lot of people, what they don't realize is that you know, there are a lot of, for Nairobi to become a truly African financial hub, you know, there are a number of supporting sectors that are needed to thrive, and that's why you're seeing a lot of investment in infrastructure. You know, a new airport, or, you know, the redevelopment of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the railway lines, you know, the sewer lines. How are these investments going to support Nairobi's ambition to become Africa's capital?
That is 100% correct. Because number one, I cannot do it alone by attracting all this money into the country. If I attract all this money into the country, services are required. And if services are required, infrastructure is required. Needs to be done right. Number one, your road system, your rail network, and your air system. Number two, these people who are coming into the country need good education, good schools. That we need to improve in that. And schools, I'm not just talking about schools, I'm talking about a lot of research and development needs to be put into these institutions. Number three, as I said, we also need to ensure that we're moving in tandem, of course, with our healthcare system, and ensuring that that is also working for us. And then, of course, number four, you have now your financial services, which now we are talking about. So if all these things are working in tandem, I think all that is an ecosystem of ensuring that you have a very successful financial center. Now, if you compare us to now the most mature financial centers, you will see that all these things are working for them. If you go to Marina Bay, if you go to DIFC in Dubai, if you go to Doha in Qatar, if you go to Wall Street in New York, if you go to Canary Wharf in London, you see all these things are working for them. So we need to ensure that ecosystem also is working for us. So when money is coming, money and capital is coming to do something for us.
Last year, you know, Nairobi was inducted into the World Alliance of International Financial Centers, you know, giving it a major boost and, of course, a leapfrog. How has this changed the way investors view Nairobi?
Of course, it has changed in a positive way, number one. Number two, it also gives you a seat at the table. It gives a seat at the table whereby you're able to compare yourselves with other international financial centers. Number two, it also gives you an opportunity to benchmark against what other people are doing. And number three, it also gives you access to see how is capital flowing and why is capital flowing within these jurisdictions. So that now it gives you a better assessment when you go home and say, okay, I think we need to do things a little bit differently. Then we need to look at it, we need to change a few things to ensure that capital also flows through Nairobi. So it has given us a better enhancement. Where we are right now in our index is not where we want to be. We want to be hopefully by 2030 we should be the number one financial center in the continent, with the deliberate moves that we're making 4 years from now. You know, and
is it realistic?
And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is possible. It is possible because the things that we're trying to do as a financial center within this very short period of time are very deliberate moves, and I'm going to use the word deliberate, whereby we are going to be very unapologetic in the policies that we drive to ensure that we become the number one financial center. I think we have for far too long we have been relaxing on our loins, and I think now is the time for us to make that deliberate push. So it's possible.
Also, talk to us how the grey listing of Kenya as a conduit for illicit flows has impacted Nairobi as a brand.
So that came about, and that is a challenge that the country, I think, we have faced head on, and we're saying we have to sort this out within the designated and the shortest period of time. So we're using that also as an advisory and a self-audit method to say, okay, since all these things are coming to us, I think we need to also organize ourselves and ensure if capital is coming to Kenya, we have to do it in the right way, number one. We have to ensure that the right money is coming to us and coming to be invested in the right sectors. So we have the FATF Financial Action Task Force, which has been co-led by different sectors and being spearheaded under the National Treasury to ensure that we tick off all the boxes. So now, the thing that you've seen, of course, we have, one of the recommendations was to ensure that we have the Virtual Assets Act now in place. We sort out the lawyers and also the professionals. So all those things have to be done to ensure that we organize ourselves. So it is, in short, a self-audit whereby now we need to say, hey guys, I think we have come of age. We've come of age, and we need to organize our capital properly for us to compete with the best of the best in the world. So we're looking at it as an opportunity whereby we can correct or self-correct our economy in the right direction. And do we want to get out of it? Of course, we want to get out of it in the shortest period of time, so that it does not impact our economy deeper than what it would.
And of course, the next review is coming up somewhere in 2028, and your desire is to have Nairobi as Africa's premier financial hub by 2030. Are you working collaboratively with other agencies to ensure that the grey listing is lifted?
Absolutely. And even for us as the Nairobi International Finance Center, we have been co-opted into the Financial Action Task Force on anti-money laundering, so that we can ensure that Kenya gets out of that by that stipulated time. And I have no doubt in my mind that the things that we're doing and the moves that we're making, Brian, we're going to be out of that thing.
Before I let you go, what else do we need to know?
I think I want to tell our people that I think sometimes we are our biggest critics. There's a lot working for this country of ours. There's a lot working for us. And as I said, all we need to do is we just need to ensure that we organize this capital. So I want to ensure, and I want to tell Kenyans that we understand exactly what needs to be done from a macro point of view and micro point of view. Now, democratically, any modern democracy has an impatient population. And that is what we are experiencing as a world. And I think that's what we need. We have to live with it. But now we have to ensure that if we're going forward, we have to take our people in the right destination. And take people to the right destination, you need to have a proper roadmap. And that is what has been created, and that is what we are following. So if we're trying to correct even what the mistakes that were made before us, right now is the time that we're trying to ensure that that broken stick becomes the most focused and North Pole and facing north stick, so that we can take the people to the right to the right destination. And the financial center is one of them. For us, we're organizing capital, and we're going to ensure that that capital comes, that capital is invested in the country, so that it can work for Kenya.
Very good. Daniel Mainda, thank you very much for joining us on Inside Government, and of course for unrolling to us all that information. We highly appreciate your time. Very good. Daniel Mainda is the Chief Executive Officer, Nairobi International Financial Center, joining us on this week's episode of Inside Government, and of course helping us understand what they are doing to position Nairobi as Africa's premier financial hub. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Do I look like a bugger boy?
Bugger boy? What is that?
To carry those things and help the customer, Mheshimiwa. What about if I said, I'm not a tender, I'm a customer just like you?
So why were you... Attender? What do you mean you are not a tender?
Please don't confuse me. Please,
I'm not confusing you. Can you elaborate? What is a tender?
And how comes it was me who put in the car? How comes it was me?
Excuse me?
Excuse me too.
Wacha kubeba watu akili kama kidogo na hii. Sababu mimi alitoa mafuta wapi ndo alete wewe kotini?
Si kwa kali huyo mama, si kwa
kali aibu.
Kwa nini kwanza alinipatia 200 na